Welcome to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services.
This show focuses on sharing good news and powering the good in our community. Now here's your host, City Current CEO, Jeremy Park.
Welcome back to the City Current Show, powered by Higginbotham. I'm your host, Jeremy Park. We're always honored to bring you inspiring stories of individuals and organizations making a difference and powering the good. And that's why we're excited to be talking about the Front Porch. We're honored to have with us Melissa Todd, Executive Director of the Front Porch, and Lauren Wilson-Young, owner of Sweet LaLa's Bakery, which we'll talk all about as well. How are you two doing?
I'm doing great, Jeremy. Excited to be here.
I'm doing great as well. Thank you so much for having us.
Absolutely. Well, we have a lot to unpack. We have collaboration. We have an event space. We have a lot to talk about. But let's start out with a little bit of context. When you talk about the Front Porch, give us some background on how all of this starts. Where does the story begin?
Well, the story really begins right there on the campus of Second Baptist Church. For years, they've hosted a pumpkin patch, and they celebrated 20 years of hospitality serving the Memphis community. And out of the conversations with the church community, we started to realize that there is a way to make a more permanent and hospitable place for people who frequent in that neighborhood or in the area schools. So we're so excited that they, through lots of conversations, allowed use of space of 5 acres. They have 16 beautiful acres covered in trees in a park-like setting, but they really wanted to open their campus to more people in Memphis, as they've seen over 5,000 people come to the pumpkin patch in the month of October alone. So our hope is to connect people to each other, to see more people coming together, as we're calling Gather for Good, and find ways that we feed the community quite literally through the cafe that'll be on site that we'll operate, called Second Helpings Cafe. And then we'll have a partnership with Baptist Center for Good Grief to really put on display mental health. We think that that was the big driver for the project, was to really connect people to each other and try to tackle loneliness in the best way possible.
When you talk about food and the mental health for you and your family, these are very important through lines. Give us a little bit of what that's going to look like on your end, and then we'll switch over to Melissa and talk all about the beautiful venue. So give us a little bit more on the food and especially that mental health component.
Yeah, what we really wanted to see is see our city be able to approach mental health in a way that takes the stigma away. The Grief Center has operated in the city for years, and they are serving over 65 people weekly for free counseling. So we want to make sure that they're elevated in the work that they do, that we can serve more people who have experienced deep loss. We know that affects appetite, it affects relationships, it affects so much, and we want people to be able to talk about it. It's hard sometimes to lose someone that you love, but what we know, a lot of people are feeling that loss in a way that they could share that grief, and all grief should be shared. And then what we know in my years of being in a bakery is that food is a comfort to people. You come to food for those hard days and those great days. And so what we really wanted to do is put emphasis on making a space that you came together in conversations around the community work, but also just for yourself and for your friends. And so I've been lucky enough to have great customers here at the bakery, but what we wanted to do is kind of create a more missional space that would allow for this conversation around mental health and community good to take place there at Second Helpings Cafe.
I love it. When you talk about gather for good and power the good, how can you not love it? So, Melissa, dive in on your end, because I've seen the renderings, absolutely beautiful, lots of windows and openings, obviously lots of multi-use space for events. So go ahead and dive into the venue.
So what's really great about the entire venue is it's just a space for community. And we want to make sure that we're welcoming to all people of all faiths, of all backgrounds. So that's really what this center is all about, or what our campus is all about. Inside, you're going to find Second Helpings Cafe, which will be in partnership with Sweet LaLa's. And it'll be open to the public, Monday through Saturday, when she does her official grand opening. And it'll be a place where you can just come in and get lunch and breakfast and sweet treats, some of her sweet treats, and full espresso bar and coffee, and just a place for you to be able to meet with your colleagues or meet with your family, or if you just want to come to just sit and be by yourself, you can do that too. So one of the great things about our space is we'll have a front porch that will have actual rocking chairs where you can just go out and kind of be by yourself or chat with a friend or chat with a colleague. And then we'll also have our back porch as well, where we'll have outdoor space for people to sit and enjoy their time with whoever they're meeting with. We will have an event space, and we have kind of a sweet spot of like 50 to 72 people. It's all glass, like you stated. We're really gearing it towards businesses and corporations to have, their gatherings, networking events, to have conferences, to have meetings, to have presentations. And that's really important to us that we bring business to the front porch so people can see the connection again. And people just know that we're a space that they can come to. We will host private events as well. Don't get me wrong. We will do that as well. You can have, luncheons and, evening parties. We just can't be too late because we want to be kind to our neighbors. And we're also an alcohol-free venue. We have a meeting space as well, which is basically like a conference room, but it's going to be for up to 12 people where people can have more intimate meetings, more intimate gatherings, card games, Bible studies, just whatever, you need for, up to 12 people, even a small party if you want to. And then we also have private office space. So that is where we came in partnership with Baptist Center for Good Grief, Millis House. They're going to be occupying 9 offices of the building. They're really a large portion of our building where they give, free grief counseling to people. So we're really excited about that partnership. And then we also have Christian Psychological Center is going to have Dr. Lou Martin is going to have an office there. We just are about to have an agreement signed with the tutors, which is great because we're surrounded by 5 schools. So to be able to have tutors on our campus is just really exciting. And then we have 2 private offices still available if anybody's looking for some great office space at East Memphis. So that's a little bit about the facility.
Talk about tying all of those different elements together, because there is a through line, but there's also obviously a lot to manage. When you talk about community space, activation for food, activation for offices, events, so you're going to have a good mixture of community coming in on a regular basis, and obviously all the different events. And so talk about kind of that approach of managing all those different logistical pieces, so to speak, to be able to make the magic happen.
Yeah, so we're going to have, like I said, we'll have the event space, we'll have the meeting room, but I think what's most important is for you to understand that we are a nonprofit, and what's really important to us is community and bringing people together. And so we are going to host free monthly events, and these events we're going to try to partner with other nonprofits to bring their programming in to offer a free event to the public, once a month. It could, we're going to have 3 series. We're going to have our entertainment series, our art series, and our speaker series. So it could be that we're partnering. We've spoken with Memphis Symphony Orchestra. We could have a small quartet come in to do a small concert for the community. It could be that we have a magician coming in to, entertain kids, or some dynamic speaker, or someone who we really all want to hear from, an author. So that's really important to us, that we're showcasing some kind of private, free, sponsored event every month for the community, because we want to bring the community together.
Touch on that piece in a little deeper way, because even Lauren alluded to it on fighting isolation. So allowing for places where you can sit in the rocking chair by yourself and just be at peace, but really having a gathering opportunity for the community to build those relationship bridges that are so needed in our community. So in other words, talk about why that aspect is so important, the ripple impact for our community.
So, Surgeon General says that 58% of Americans are lonely. And I think that's really important, especially since COVID. It's also really hard for adults to make friends, to be honest with you. And as funny as that sounds, it's true. It's really hard for adults to make friends. So if we have a place where everybody feels welcome and everyone feels like they belong, I think that will bring people together. Another aspect of it is we're going to have a volunteer program. So we think it's really important that we're bringing volunteers in. We're going to have what we're called hospitality host opportunities, where people can sign up for 2-hour shifts and just come in and just greet people and make people feel welcome. Not intrusively, but just to make sure that they're able to, when people walk through the door, they know that they're welcome and that we want them to be there. So I think that's a huge part of it too, is being able to bring so many different volunteers into the space, to be able to connect people. And I think, Lauren's done such a great job of making Sweet LaLa is just a place where there's so much connection going on. And she's going to bring that to Second Helpings, I'm sure. And I think that's what's special about Second Helpings Cafe, is that we're going to have the touch of Sweet LaLa's inside the building, and the touch of the Wilson family and the hospitality of the family in the building. And we're going to have so many people working hard to make sure people feel the community.
Lauren, let's switch it back over to you. Talk about why the front porch is so important for you, for your family, as another chapter with Sweet LaLa's, even in terms of opening up even further. So talk about why the front porch is so important for you, and obviously, what your vision is for the future with this in terms of the opportunity for the Mid-South.
Sure. I just feel so proud to be in a project with my parents. I think one of the things that I can say very loud and clear, my parents love the city of Memphis, and they have a heart for the city in a way that is pretty tremendous. And what has been wonderful is they really kind of wanted to make a legacy gift. That would be what we think is truly the heart of Memphis. When you look at the patterns of where Memphis lies, this is kind of a true center city spot at Perkins and Walnut Grove. Certainly, they have put a lot of years and time at Second Baptist, but the way in which Second Baptist has been kind of ministry partners to the entire city, back behind on the Heights spaces, and then they've gone overseas, of course, but they really believe that the city of Memphis deserves to have a place where people come together, all faiths and all walks. I think that's something that's really special to my parents, to be able to create an extension of that hospitality right there on a property that they've developed for so many years and put our family's time and interest in. And I think being part of the hospitality industry, Memphis is one of the greatest cities to be a part of hospitality. And so I really love that this gift is going to live long past my parents and hopefully long past me. But the idea was a front porch is really approachable. And our city has always been approachable. People love to come to Memphis. And what mostly I always hear, Memphis has people who connect and have relationship. That's why you love the city. On top of the great food, you love Memphis because of the people. And I think what we want to see is, being able in a space like this, ensure that people come together for the right reasons. This gather for good has really become kind of a mantra. It's not so much about having all of these end products, but it's really just about being together with laughter, being together in a glass building or in a wonderful lawn under a grove of trees, just letting people see that people want to connect again and not being behind brick walls or behind phones and screens. So I think that's one of the most special parts about this, is it's kind of, you can find your place and you can belong on any given day that we have the building up and running. And we're just thrilled that it's a project I could do with my parents too.
I think what's really great about it too, Jeremy, if you wouldn't mind me hopping in, is, we started a capital campaign for $5 million, and the donors have been just, foundations here in Memphis. And it's been people and families of Memphis who want to see this space come to life. And that's what's been really great and very touching for me to see how many people have come forward wanting to make sure that this is a space that we can all go to. So, I'm just really grateful to all the donors and every foundation that's really come through for us.
Absolutely. When you talk about bringing the space to life, talk about the timing, talk about where we are in the process. So give us an idea of kind of how all this is coming together and when.
Yeah, so if you drive down the street, you'll see that it's coming together very quickly. It will be, our official grand opening will be November 8th. So it'll be from 2 to 4 on a Saturday, and everyone's invited to come, and we're really excited for that. So that's when our official grand opening is. Lauren has the Second Helpings Cafe, where she'll have a different grand opening, so I'll let her touch on that.
We're going to open on November 8th, but we're going to do a limited menu. As you can imagine, the holiday season is really ramped up during November, December, and we want to make sure we wow everyone from the beginning. So we're going to start a little bit slow with modest food and a full espresso bar, but modest food. And then come January, we'll be full blown with our hours and full menu. But we're excited. It'll be a little bit different than what we do here at Sweet LaLa's. We know that people are kind of rushing to appointments, but also hoping to stick around for a while. But our concept is kind of what you would have on a picnic. What would you have as a front porch kind of meal? So wraps, salads, some soup, and then we'll of course have our delicious treats. And then the primary focus is really to put on display a lot of our social enterprise products. So my cup of tea will be served as it is already here, but thistle and bee, granola and honey, was actually already made on site at the campus. And so, and Vinculo, our coffee provider, we're really excited about, has a really central focus mission for where they source the beans from several countries. So we're going to be real excited to share with community the way that we do business and the way in which the Second Helpings is actually helping our own Memphis community.
So touch on all the different ways the community can help, because obviously there's, hosting your events there. There's making sure that you go there for, the coffee and the food and the community. But how can the community support this effort with the Front Porch?
Well, I'll speak first. I think first we want you to tell your friends about it. We want you to show up. We want you to book an event. We think that part of the way in which this concept really works well is we're more than halfway there with the facility use agreements of the cafe and of Baptist Center for Good Grief. And with the offices, we want those 2 offices rented or leased by someone. But the events is a big part of how we make up the difference of what just the annual operating cost. It's not a very expensive project, but that we think the good that happens behind the doors or within the walls is going to be amazing. So we do need you to book events with us, and then tell your friends so that they can join us at some of the free events. And we're looking for corporate sponsors. Some of the free events are still needing some of our sponsors, and we think that that's going to be a great way for you to get your name out too. So I would encourage you to look at some of those opportunities and talk to Melissa.
Yeah, Melissa, what would you add to that?
Yeah, I would say that we're still in our capital campaign, so you still have opportunities to give to the campaign and be one of the people who help build this space. And I think we'll have opportunities for you to get recognition for giving to the Front Porch Project. And I would think Lauren got most of it, but yeah, book the space. I think that is really important to us. And if anybody wants to come out and see it and they're thinking, we might want to have an event here, I'm happy to give them a hard hat tour. They can email me and I'm happy to take them through the building so they can see the space. I mean, we've already started renting the space. We have New Memphis is going to be using it. We have Society of Entrepreneurs, just to name a few. So we've even booked it for a birthday brunch already. So, we are excited and we encourage people to go ahead and book early because we do have some grand opening specials.
We'll carry that into contact information. So website, social media, your email, where do we go to take those next steps?
Sure. You can go to our websites, thefrontporchmemphis.org. You can email me at melissa@tfpmemphis.org. But you can also find that on the website if you need to go check. And then we also have, you can follow us on Instagram, Facebook, and LinkedIn, The Front Porch Memphis.
Well, once again, the website is thefrontporchmemphis.org. Lauren, Melissa, thank you for all you and your amazing teams do to power the good. Thank you for coming on the show.
Thanks so much for having us.
Higginbotham Insurance and Financial Services is proud to power the City Current Show. We're a people-first company that protects what matters most, the families, businesses, and trailblazers that keep our community going. As one of the nation's top independent insurance firms, Higginbotham is a single-source solution for business insurance, employee benefits, HR services, and personal insurance that's customized for you. We're here to serve you, the people you care about, and your community. Call 866-377-1959 or visit higginbotham.com.